Okay, so you're going to use the dye pump. First step is come in, turn on this, there's a light switch over here. It's really dark, the dye itself, so you need as much light as possible. Next step is prepare your dye bottles to fill up. So just take the lids off the ones that you want to fill up. So we'll say this one here, and with these 1 litre ones, make sure you don't take off that lid because you'll fill it up really quick. Make sure you take off the full 1 litre lid. It's an easy mistake to make. So you might be filling up, 10 of these. So you might have 10 lids. Just put the lids somewhere safe. Next step, grab a bit of paper towel. This just helps if you put a little drip somewhere. If you've got this in your hand, you can just quickly wipe it up. All right. So the next thing is the gun and the nozzle. So there's a few tricks with this gun and nozzle setup. So the hardest thing to do is if this hasn't been used for a week or so, the dye solidifies in the nozzle, and to open the nozzle you've got to twist it, and it can be really hard. So it might even be that you might need a pair of pliers to undo it initially, and then once you've done it once it's sort of okay to do it, but I'll show you how far you've got to untwist it. So it easily goes to there, but that's not properly open. You've got to go all the way, see it's still a bit stiff, all the way out to here. So it's quite a long way, it has to be opened, and then you need to shut it once you're done because it is a bit drippy when it's just left opened. So that's the nozzle, and then the gun itself, the trigger mechanism, it won't go until you press this black little button. So it's kind of like you need 2 hands up here. So you press that, and you can go all the way down, but if you do go all the way down and you accidentally knock that black button, the trigger will lock on, so it'll have a constant flow. So you just push it again to release it. If you don't push that black button, it doesn't lock. So you've got your gun ready to go. I'll just shut this. Now, you've got your bottles are ready to go, your gun's ready to go. Now I won't turn this on because it's a bit noisy. The next step is you're going to turn this on. But before that, I guess you've got to check the valves are correct. So to fill up the dye, the only valve you need is this bottom valve coming from the dye container. This one gives us water into the system, and this one's used for mixing up the dye. So you don't need to worry about these two. You just need this one to be on, which is in line with the pipe. So across the line is blocking the pipe, so that's closed. You need that to be open, these two closed. And you're ready to go. You've got your little bit of paper towel for any sort of little spills you do. You've got your bin here. You turn your pump on. Now get ready for it because the pump makes a pretty awful sound. But don't worry about the noise. You just fill up your dye containers and you do it slowly, and it's hard to tell when they're full because the dye is so dark. So you have to have this light on and be looking down into the nozzle to try to see. Now if you are having trouble, just lift it up a little bit and see if it feels heavy enough. And then you go around to the next one, whatever, and then once you're done, try to keep that in the nozzle of the container, and do the nozzle of the dye pump up before you move around, because it will drip a little bit and it just gets a bit messy. And then you go and you turn off your pump and you're done.